Hello friends, Amanda here. Welcome back to Handmade Now Hallmark. I have got my first Halloween card in for this year, and it is a cute one featuring some fun Hello Bluebird products. I can't wait to share this card with you. It was so fun to make. I hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. I wanted to first get my background stamped and inked up before I did anything else, so it had a chance to dry completely. I've got my MISTI stamp positioner here, and I'm using the Ghostly Greetings text background from My Favorite Things. And I've also got a piece of a SLATE cardstock from Simon cut down to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card panel. I'm utilizing the MISTI sticky mats to kind of help hold down my cardstock, and I'm going to ink up the stamp with some Hero Arts Unicorn White Pigment ink. I really think this looks nice against this slate cardstock, and then once we go in with the ink blending, it's going to look really neat as well because it's going to look kind of faded and ghosty. Once I had that stamped down, I'm going to hit it with my heat gun just so that it dries a little bit before I start ink blending, because I don't want the white pigment ink to kind of blend with the black ink and kind of smudge and make a gray color. I want it to be nice and dark whenever I ink blend. So just hitting that with my heat gun real quick just to heat it up a little bit, and I was okay with it looking kind of splotchy and uneven. It was kind of the look I was going for, and I love how this background turned out. I'm probably going to use this style or this technique later on in my series. I've got some Distress Black Soot ink here, and I'm just going to ink blend around the edges, kind of so that the center kind of glows a little bit more and to make it look a little bit more spooky. And I really think this looks neat. I know Nicole Spore does this a lot with some of her background panels, and it's a really cool technique to add some texture and interest to your backgrounds. I'm also going to do a little bit of splattering in the background using the same black soot. Again, this is a Halloween card, so you kind of have the freedom to be a little bit messy and add some splatter and things like that, which I think is really fun. I started doing Halloween cards last year, and I really enjoyed making them, and you guys really seem to enjoy them as well. I've got some new goodies. I'm hopeful to have a haul video coming up here this week. I'm hopeful to get it out this week of some products that I'm going to be using throughout the fall and Halloween season, and I'm really excited about that. Some of the products that I'm using today are going to be new, so I will share those in my haul video, but I just had to make a card first. I was itching to use these products, and I had a lot of fun doing it. Next, I'm going to go in with some white gouache, and I'm going to add a little bit of white splatter just to kind of pull in some of the white from the text in the background and kind of make it a little bit more cohesive. We're going to be adding some white ghosts a little bit later too. Once I was happy with that, I'm going to set all of my background aside to dry completely so I don't smudge anything. Next, I've got these cute dies from Hello Bluebird. This is their Ghostly Night dies, and these are so cute and fun to play with. And you can really create some fun scenes with these ghosts. And I just wanted them to be kind of plain, but I wanted them to have a little bit of dimension. I know that they're ghosts and they're technically supposed to be see-through, so you could have cut them out of some vellum. That would have been really neat, but I wanted them to stand out a little bit more, so I just cut them out of some white cardstock, and I'm just coloring over them with my C1 marker, Copic marker, just to give them a little bit of dimension. It's really faint and subtle, but I really like the way that it looks. And then I'm just kind of going over the edges with the Zero blender just to kind of faint and, kind of hide the rough edges a little bit just to make it a little bit more smooth. And then I'm going to go in and add some cute rosy cheeks. Again, I know that they're ghosts, but I just wanted to add them. I think it was really cute. And then I faded out a little bit more with the colorless blender just so it's not so pink and kind of in your face. It kind of really fades it out a bit. And I think they're cute. They look so sweet, and it's neat because their little hands, they cut out so that you can fit in, like, I think in the die set there's a candy corn and a broom and things like that. Little things to help you set your scene. Next, I'm going to get my main greeting ready to go. This is also from Hello Bluebird. This is the Boo to You die. I think this is a wonderful die set to work with. It is so easy to kind of stack, which is one of my favorite things to do. I cut it out of some black cardstock as well as some green glitter cardstock, and I'm just stacking them up. I did 2 pieces of black cardstock and I did 1 piece of the glitter, and this is just to kind of create a nice dimensional die cut. You could probably just add foam tape behind this, which the text is big enough that you could do that, but I wanted mine to be a little bit more dimensional. Again, this is one of my favorite ways to add a greeting to a card, especially whenever it's kind of the main focus of the card, as well as the little ghosts, and I think it turned out great. This would look really fun with some green or purple cardstock as well. Next, I'm going to get the inside of my card done and my secondary greeting. I took a greeting from the My Favorite Things Itty Bitty Boos, stamp set. This is a really cute stamp set that just features some Halloween greetings, which I think is perfect because if you don't do Halloween cards a lot, this is a nice small set that's just full of greetings that you can customize any other greeting, whether it's a thank you, a hello, with a Halloween greeting and turn it into a Halloween card. So I am going to be using the Happy Halloween and Ghostly Greetings. I'm going to use the Ghostly Greetings on the outside, and I'm going to use the Happy Halloween on the inside of the card. I'm stamping it down with some Versamark ink, and I'm going to coat it with some white embossing powder from Brutus Monroe. And once I get that all heated up, I'm going to cut it out with a couple of banner dies, and we'll be able to get to work on assembling this card. I really love the way that this turned out. It was so fun to make, and I love the way that this background turned out. Once it was dry, I have so many more ideas using the same kind of style as kind of a background focus for a card. I think it would look really cool on craft, and like kind of doing like a brown spooky kind of thing. I think it would be really cool too. So here you can kind of see what I've got planned for this card. I really love the green against this black. I really think it stands out well, and I just love these little ghosts. They look so perfect. Oh, I loved it so much. So what I'm going to do before I get everything kind of adhered down here, I'm going to stamp on the inside of my card using that same Ghoulish Greetings text background stamp from My Favorite Things that I used on the front of the card. I'm going to stamp it down using some fog ink. Now, I had it all lined up, and I got my stamp all cleaned off and got everything ready to go, and I realized that I stamped it upside down. And I thought, you know, it's Halloween. You can kind of get away with it. I wasn't going to redo the whole card base just because I stamped it upside down. I was totally okay with it. So I'm just going to mask the top portion of this card so that whenever I ink it up and I stamp it down, I'm not going to get any on the top part. So I'm just using some fog ink from Simon, and I'm going to get a piece of scratch paper here, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. And this is where I thought, I was like, oh, I have it around the right way. It's going to look great. And then when I flipped it around, I was like, oh crap, it's upside down. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let it go. It's Halloween card. Just roll with it. So I was okay with it. I left it be, and then I can get to the rest of the assembly of the card. So for the big Boo to You greeting, I coated the back of it with some foam tape. These are just some Darice 3M foam strips. And I'm going to get that lined up right in the middle there, and I love the way that this looks. I think it would look really cute in orange too. I might have to make another card just like this, and then maybe like accessorize the ghosts, because the die set comes with like a little hat, a witchy broom. I think there's a pumpkin and some other things in there that they can kind of hold in their little hands, which I think is fun. Because my greeting is a little bit of dimension to it, I'm going to kind of pop up the ghost so that they don't kind of flatten in the mail when I, send it out. So I'm just going to coat the back of them in certain areas so that they pop up, and then I'm going to glue down the other parts to the actual greeting so that they, are nice and even so that they don't get squished. And I'm really excited for the fall and Halloween season. I don't have a set schedule for cards. They're just going to kind of come out whenever I have an idea in mind, and I'm just going to share them. So it won't be like, I'm going to do this many cards. This is card number 1. This is, I'm just going to kind of go with the flow, and I'm going to just be posting them sporadically up until I start my holiday cards. So fall and Halloween cards are going to be kind of mixed together, but I will kind of put them in their own separate playlists if you're just interested in watching either the fall or the Halloween cards. Next, I'm going to get this last ghost adhered. I didn't want to kind of put him over top of the green area because I didn't want to look like his little eyes and his mouth were glowing green. I probably could have put like a small scratch piece of black cardstock behind him so that it kind of filled in his face so you couldn't see through it. That's another way to kind of, if you want to put this over top of a colored cardstock, kind of hide that. I didn't think about it until later, but once I got him on there, I was happy with where he was placed. I'm just going to trim down my greeting a little bit more here so that it fits a little bit nicer over top of my greeting. And I am going to adhere it right across the top of this Boo to You. It is kind of the big statement of the card, but it's kind of like the secondary greeting. The main greeting is this little one, so that's why I kind of put it in the background. Again, I really like doing this where you have nice big dies where you can fit a secondary greeting over top of it. I really think it kind of keeps everything cohesive and together. And I just love the way that this turned out. I was so excited about this card. And then I'm going to go in with some finishing details to kind of dress the card up. I felt like my ghosts didn't have like enough shading on them, so I do apologize if my head's in the way, but I just wanted to go in with a little bit of a darker C marker from my Copic collection. This is a C2, and I just kind of went around and enhanced their shadows a little bit more. Again, this is totally optional. You could always ink blend or cut them out of like a gray cardstock or something like that to make them look a little bit more ghosty. But once I was happy with that, I went in with some Nuvo crystal drops. I've got green apple, and I'm going to go in with ebony black as well. I love this little addition of these dots. I think it really brings more of that green in. I know there's a lot of green on the front of this card, but I felt like it was a nice addition. Go in with the ebony black. And I love adding these sorts of details. I thought about adding sequins, but it didn't really have a whole lot of like bright green. I have more of like Christmassy greens, so I was glad I went with these drops. And then I'm going to go in with my Nuvo AQUA shimmer pen and add it to the greeting and to the ghosts, and that will finish up this first Halloween card of the 2022 season. I am super excited for this. I really hope you enjoyed this card, and please consider hitting the subscribe button as well as that little thumbs up. It lets YouTube know that you're enjoying the content that I'm bringing to you. I can't wait to share with you guys more cards. I just love this so much. I can't wait to create more Halloween cards and share them with you. Hope you have a great day. I'll see ya. Bye!
On screen, I've got a few videos that I think you'll enjoy. Consider hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more videos at my YouTube channel.